I am resident of Collard for YouTube. Jules Sains, that is Vickie Ray, that is Tom Diamond. We are here to review the Time Tunnel, Episode 8, titled Massacre, which is all about Custard's last stand.
We all know how that ended.
That's for sure.
Very, very brutally. They actually had about it last year. This time they had a thing on Custard on the History Channel that I watched. That was really interesting.
He was an asshole.
Yeah, he was. He was an arrogant. He was an
like
arrogant.
Everybody sees Errol Flynn was fighting the Indians to the last. That's not how it happened.
No,
what I think is interesting about this episode.
Wait, what about your show? Wait. I interrupted.
Wait a minute. Go ahead. Talk.
What about your show?
What I think is interesting
Jewel.
about this episode is actually the score, the music. That John Williams, of course, went on to do Star Wars and everything, but he did the music for the Time Tunnel, and what he did with that little tune.
That came from Your Yellow Ribbon.
Yeah, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
And you even saw Anne. Anne was mothering. Anne was humming it as they were going through it. But I think that really added to the show because it was a really well done score, and that plus the usual drama. Although, interestingly enough, here the bugler forms more of a relationship with Doug than with Tony, and Tony's off in the Tony's off making friends with the chief, and being the front man and stuff like that. But I thought that the music added really to this episode. And the other thing that I saw was that the movies, the whatchamacallit, they didn't have the movies until the middle of the show, which was good. They didn't have the I don't know which one did they do this time, Vickie? What movie did they use for this?
Well, I know that they used She Wore a Yellow Ribbon for some of that.
Oh, they did. Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah.
They didn't have it till the middle of the show, and I really do think that the less they have of that, the better the show is, because they're able more to rely on the plot and the deepening of getting to care about the characters.
Well, they had to accommodate for an intense atmosphere with limited means.
Exactly. But this was, and of course Lawrence Montaigne, who was in a number of these episodes, and of course I think he was Stan in Amok Time and Star Trek. And he plays the Indian who is caught in the tunnel, and he winds up. The
blue-eyed Indian with the wig.
Yeah, exactly. And he's talking with the great spirit General Kirk.
Yeah.
But I think that was interesting. The whole this is so much, if you compare it to the last one, which was the Helen of Troy, and it was very manufactured, and you had a lot of stock footage. Here, the stock footage is limited.
Very.
And it gives more of a chance for the characters to develop, and basically to tell a story. And the guy who played Custer was pretty good.
Yeah.
He was, he was. I forget the actor's name, but he riveted your attention. You knew he meant business, whatever he was doing. He played a bastard, and he played him well. And I just thought it was a more put together episode from a writing standpoint than the last one. Um, and that's my take on it. I give it an 8. Actually, I give it an 8.5. I give it an 8.5. What about you guys?
Jewel, what were you talking about? A documentary about Custer you're watching?
Yeah, last year on the History Channel, they showed they made a documentary with experts about Custard's last stand. And what they were really talking about was that Custard had you really got a sense that Custard was very arrogant that he was going to win this battle.
He was very politically motivated.
Yeah, and he separated from his other generals to take the charge.
Yeah,
yeah,
his biggest mistake.
Yeah, and it's funny. Some of the Indian scouts for Custard did get massacred. One of the women in there were Indian women who took part in this battle because some of them dismembered them by cutting off their penises and stuff like that and sticking it in their throat.
They did.
Yeah.
You knew about a lot of people don't.
Well, there's a detail I missed.
Well, I mean, he was the reason for all of the massacres, like the massacre in Oklahoma, of Black Kettle and all that. I mean, he was bastard. I mean, they deliberately wiped out whole villages.
So, I mean, you learn that the entire Sioux tribe comes together to battle Custard. And I mean, they do get massacred in every sense of the word. When they showed this last year, when they were talking about it, it was really interesting because even Custard's like second in command was like, I'm not shocked that he charged without me, because they knew how arrogant he was, that Custard was very arrogant. It's usually the most arrogant generals do get killed in battle, and or colonels, if you whatever. This is just another example of that. Really,
he never drank alcohol, and he did not like Ulysses Grant because he thought Grant was a drunk.
He wouldn't have liked me. Here's my whiskey and soda.
I thought it was funny though. They just happened to just emerge out of the tunnel into the plains of Montana. It's like the night before Custer's last stand, so already this isn't going to go down well. And then they start out with a young bugler. And they go to a Lakota encampment where he's trying to prove peaceful intentions. Tony, anyway, he always ends up in these weird situations. Doug doesn't end up in near the weird shit Tony ends up in. I mean, Sitting Bull was about ready to adopt him, for crying out loud. And they walk around with 60s garb, and nobody finds this unusual. Just saying.
Yeah. He had the best job. He sat in the teepee.
Yeah, well, that in history, Sitting Bull never did leave his teepee. He never did go engage with Custer. So that is true. So, I mean, who knows what that was about? Because I highly doubt Custer would even have wanted.
But he really bonded with Tony.
He wanted to wipe them out, huh?
I was going to mention that. And that's a good point, Vickie. He really bonded with Tony.
Yeah.
And that, I think, would also brought some strength to the episode.
A lot. Yeah, it's kind of cool.
Yeah, because essentially, it was a presage of two separate races getting along with each other, and the Sitting Bull character here was shown to be he had a lot of foresight and a lot of insight, and a
lot of what do you call it, like grandfatherly knowledge.
Yeah, and he and Tony got, and of course, one wonders where Tony got the insight to say, "You're my brother," and he was able to talk to him like he had known him for years, that kind of thing. It was almost one wonders how he one wonders where he picked up on how to reach him. And of
They
course,
said
that's not.
Sitting Bull was a man of reason. You know, it was the other. I mean, he wasn't ready. He wanted peace. He did not want to fight in real life. Historically accurate Sitting Bull did not want this.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Because he knew that once this happened, and I mean, I forgot all about that till Jill talked
Yeah.
about it. I mean, they totally dismembered a lot of
Yeah.
those guys. I mean, I can't really say that, but it was pretty horrific. I forgot about the penises in the mouth thing. How could I forget anything like that?
Well, I mean, that's the thing. Like, you're right. He did not want this. Sitting Bull did not want this to happen.
Right.
And I forget whether it was him or the other Native American who had a vision of the battle. And in the vision, they told one of them, do not dismember the dead. And that's the one thing the women.
Was it Crazy Horse?
Yeah. Yeah. And they told
Fuck
he
with
had
the
a
dead.
vision that he had a vision they would win this battle. They don't
Yeah.
mention that in this episode, but they do. Doug, I should say, sorry, or Tony, whatever.
Tony, one of them.
Yeah, he says you will win this battle.
Yeah.
But they don't mention in the episode that Crazy Horse had a vision that they would win this battle, which is fine. You don't have to have everything.
No.
Because you're never gonna have everything, obviously.
No.
But so it's one of the most detailed graphic battles when you watch the History Channel of what they
yes it is. It really is. It's amazing. I mean I've always been like a history nerd completely. You want to talk Star Trek nerd, I'm a history nerd. And and I'm just fascinated with all the AI. I mean, I fought AI for the longest time, but it is so cool when you can like say you want to pull up like a biblical archangel for a
Well,
good
she was right.
and
Yeah.
you see biblical archangels and you think of nice little cherub. Like, no, these are scary motherfuckers when you put them in the AI generator. I'm just saying. It's amazing because they can do this with these battles now. I mean, you can see into the ground where we used to have to dig. You don't even have to dig anymore. It's just all this AI stuff. It's used properly. It's so beneficial. But in the wrong hands. But I mean, yeah, I'm gonna have to go dig. I'm gonna have to go dig out that documentary. I'm looking for it. I was like, I want to watch it.
It was crazy. Like when I was sitting there watching it, it's like like wow, that's crazy. But yeah.
The ironic thing is that the time tunnel was replaced by Custer, which only lasts 17 episodes, and we discussed that already.
Isn't that crazy?
That's so ironic.
I mean, was it any cheaper a show? I guess.
I bet this episode was better than all the 17 episodes they had later on. I wouldn't be a bit surprised because this had depth to it. Obviously, people were not interested in what came after because Time Tunnel had a following. And this was one of the stronger, not the strongest episode, but it was one of the stronger episodes in terms of developing the relationship between Tony and Sitting Bull, and and the brotherly aspect to this, and that's one. And the other was a relationship between Doug and the Bugler, and even Custer at the end said to the Bugler, "You're not gonna ride with me. You're gonna ride with somebody else."
Yeah, they kind of tried to make him look like kind of a stand-up guy for like 5 seconds.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. But I mean, but when you think about it, when you have historical tragedy as a central theme, like with this, and it seems like they always do, they focus on the last day. At this point, it's an irreversible historical event. It's always going to be somber. It's going to be fatalistic. You can never change this. It's always going to be this way. And I mean, they couldn't even, well, at least he saved the Bugler. I don't even know if that is a key point because did he change history? We'll never know. because but he was a sassy little shit though, that bugler, wasn't he?
Yeah.
Full of sass.
Well, you can see he was conflicted. I mean, he liked Doug, but at the same time, he wanted to get ahead in the army, and he had dreams of going up in the ranks and becoming a sergeant, and who knows where from there. And they when they had Custer stand up for 5 seconds and say to the guy, "Listen, if you want all this, you have to follow orders."
Yeah.
And if you don't follow orders, you're not even going to. And that was, I think, the implied message.
Did they come into the time? They came in separately, right? Because Tony gets all immersed in Sioux culture. He's going totally Indian, and
They
Doug's
usually
going
come in.
cavalry, right?
I think they came
Did
in
they
separately.
separate?
I
They're
think
on
they
a
came in.
parallel thing going.
I think they came in separately, but like right after the other. One came right after the other.
When they stood up together and they were investigating like what's going on. They figured out that it's civil. They were wearing Civil War cavalry like
Okay, that's right.
uniform,
That's right. That's right.
and they
That's left.
saw when they saw the Native Americans, they started running. Um, they were trying to
Right.
guesstimate where they were, and that's I like how they go back to the HQ, and HQ's like punching it in. It's like, okay, this is where they are, but we
Charles
haven't found that.
Whitebird. What
Yeah.
about Charles Whitebird, the sci-fi guy? Native American history is brought into the control room. That guy. It's because they're saying, because when I was doing the research,
professor?
that it was a rare moment of indigenous representation in 1960 sci-fi. His insights into the
interesting.
battle provide counter narrative to the cavalry's point of view. He isn't mystical or symbolic. He's just a scholar. So I was wondering where he came from. Then all of a sudden he was just kind of there. Did they call him in like they always call him, like the specialist?
That is unusual to have a Native American, an Amaran, who is a professor and
Yeah.
is
I mean,
able
but
to.
he's the symbolic scholar here, and it's a powerful shift from the typical portrayal at that time of Native characters, because you didn't see he was a doctor, he was well educated, I mean, and then you go back to what they did to the Indians that were represented. I'm sorry, I picked that shit apart. I always beat the piss out of it because it was just the wigs and things like that. I even think I looked up who got the props, like who did that. It's like, oh yeah, it says that the Native Americans, presumably Sioux, are dressed with generic Plains Indian costumes that are not historically accurate, especially in regard to the wigs and headdresses they wore. But they were based on careful ethnographic research, but typical of mid-century TV and film practices, where costuming was handled more for spectacle and stereotype than for authenticity. So I guess that explained why I was laughing about the wigs.
Yeah, and you could tell the wig was fake too. I mean, yeah, but they called the
black wigs with the braids. I mean, it's so exaggerated. Yep. My hair didn't look that bad in grade school. Okay. Dignity. They must have known what dignity was in the 60s.
Well, remember in Dark Shadows, the beginning, Catherine Lee Scott's wig?
The what?
Catherine Lee Scott's wig in the beginning of Dark Shadows. She wore a wig.
Oh, yeah, well, she's got the blonde.
With the blonde wig.
Yeah.
Yeah, they lost that pretty quick.
Yes, they did.
What the hell? Because I went back to watch those episodes because I had forgotten all of them in my younger years. And I just, I forgot that they put Kathleen in that short. That just wasn't her. I'm so glad they got rid of that.
She had a totally different personality in those days. The character of Maggie, they called Vickie a jerk, and then later on, she I think bonded well. There was the first Sam Evans, Mark Allen, and then later on she bonded with David Ford. And by the time she bonded with David Ford, they wanted to make a softer character out of her. And so she lost that hard, gruff edge. And Curtis figured nobody remembered anyway. which is true. Nobody really did remember anything until Laura came on, and then they started watching it a little bit, and then of course Jonathan. But I think I think with the time tunnel once again. So are you saying, Vicky, uh, that the Indian costumes they wore were more for the movies rather than for
They were just
authenticity?
for show and for blow. They weren't going for authenticity at all. They were just going for the big shiny black wigs. They were exaggerated, studio made hair pieces repeatedly used in westerns during the 50s and 60s. They were designed more for what Hollywood thought Native Americans looked like rather than any tribal tradition. It was all part of the pan-Indian costume trope where different tribes were blended into one vague theatrical look. And you see that throughout westerns, and it's kind of insulting actually to, the Indian, but they
Well,
just
of
didn't have
course.
any. Well, I guess because they're driven by budget constraints for one. They got time pressure. It's gonna be virtual shorthand or visual shorthand because they got to throw it together like this. I guess they don't think. I don't know. They weren't expecting somebody like me in 2025 probably picking it apart. People were just happy to watch it in 1960s. But I still think it was great. I think it just adds more more to it because Irv Allen, he just did what he could to get his product out there, and I thought he was pretty had ingenuity
If you
because
think
I mean
about it,
he actually pulled it together, no matter how funny it looks to us now.
if you
But I
think
mean, I
about
just
it,
think it's funny how Tony and Doug always. Tony's always like he's so emotional. He gets involved.
right, right,
The other guy is far more reserved and critically.
cerebral,
I think they critically think, but one does more so with emotion, and he's like they kind of offset each other. One is
cerebral,
like what I mean.
cerebral.
Yeah,
Uh,
probably more cerebral. That's a good adjective.
but I think the episode, and if you think about it, how many episodes out there uh, dealt outside of the stereotype of Indians?
Not back
Uh,
then, not many. I can't even think of it. Well, even
I
F
can't
Troop.
think of a
Remember
one.
F Troop? I
Yeah.
loved F Troop,
I
but it
can't
was
think of
just
a
so
one.
bad. Huh?
I can't
You
think of
never
a
watched
one.
F Troop?
I can't think of one episode that
Oh
really
my God,
dealt
you
with them.
never watched F Troop? How could you? With Larry Storch, Captain
Larry's.
York, and what is it, Lieutenant Agarn?
Oh,
You got to look it up.
Corporal
You want to talk?
Agarn.
You got to look
Corporal
it up.
Agarn. F
How
Troop.
did how does a '60s guy like you not know what F Troop is? You
Corporal
need to look it
Agarn.
up.
F
You're
Troop.
gonna not regret it when you start watching those.
But that was with the Hakawis and
The
Frank
Cowies, yeah, the
DeCova.
Cowie Indians.
Yeah, Frank DeCova. Frank
Yes,
DeCova.
there
It
you
is
go.
balloon.
Yeah, they had what was it? Not Harvey Korman was on it once. He was a like a German Reich some guy, and he had the thing on his helmet. And he had an air balloon, and he had a dachshund. He goes, "Don't leave without mein Schnitzel." Yeah.
That's right. Well, that was part of Larry's story. He was able to imitate all these characters, and they were all Agarn's cousins. The German, the
Oh yeah,
Russian,
yeah. But
the
I mean,
Yeah.
the
French guy.
Indians, the Cowie Indians, was the funny part. I mean,
Yeah,
because they would dress them up and make them pretend to be on the warpath to freak people out. I mean, it was just so '60s.
but
I
again,
mean, but it's a great show though.
it was a fantastic show, and it should have gone on for longer.
It was funny. Yeah, it was
And
just
I
funny.
don't I don't remember why F Troop went off the air after 2 seasons.
Was it 2 seasons? Is that it?
It was
That's
two
all it had?
seasons. That was it. That was it. And the
Wow, I
last
thought for
episode,
some reason it had more.
Wilton gave Jane a friendship ring.
Oh
Uh,
yeah, that she kept waiting for him to marry her, and he was such a doofus. He never married her.
that's right. That's right. He just kept. He was now Jane.
Yeah,
He's
yeah, she was always trying to get all sexy with him, and he's just like trying to back her off.
And she was pretty sexy to begin with.
She was a
She
beautiful
was only
woman.
16 years old when she did the Melody Patterson. She was
Really,
only 16 years old when she did she lied about her age.
really.
Uh, yeah, when she did the part.
Oh, shit.
And it was by the time, but you could see she shot up in the 2 years that the show was on. And but the bottom line is that Time
Well,
Tunnel,
they did the same thing with the Indians. As I'm just saying, that was just the representation of that
right?
time,
Yeah.
or at
Exactly.
least for Hollywood. It wasn't until much later you get like Dances with Wolves and things with more dignity.
Yeah.
You know,
Exactly.
even Yellowstone portrayed, the
Mhm.
Indian with more dignity in actuality what's going on. Because I've been to Montana, it truly is poverty with a view. It is. At least that some of it is really, not that's not near as insensitive as it used to be.
The point I
Yeah.
was trying to make was on the Time Tunnel. They went out of the mold of the stereotypical Indian, which was basically part of the movies and part of the TV shows at the time, and even F Troop. F Troop was a caricature
Right.
of the Indians, but Time Tunnel went outside of that to say, "Hey, you've got some intelligent people here. You've got some people who are thinkers. You've got some people who are
They
philosophers."
did acknowledge that, though. They said there are savages
Yeah.
on both sides. At least they did acknowledge that, because
Yeah.
people had to know, Custer,
Yeah.
the way they
If
portrayed it. Like Errol Flynn and Olivia de Havilland. They had him just practically sainted in
yeah.
that version. And I know most people have watched They Died with Their Boots On.
Yeah. If you want to watch a great show with a Native American cast, Dark Winds is a way to go.
I was going to check that out. Did you like it?
Yeah, it's really great. I've watched all 3 seasons. You can
Oh,
catch
so you watched all, isn't there 4 seasons?
there's a fourth one coming.
Okay, well, that's what I have a problem with. Is it Netflix or is it
Well,
Prime?
well, it's the first 2 seasons are on Netflix, but the primary show's on AMC.
Oh, okay, because I get so disappointed with Netflix. I get so into something and then they cancel it like the third season. It's like,
Yeah,
don't do me dirty, like.
yeah. Robert
But
Redford produces it, so which he
oh,
made.
so it's got to be a quality product then.
Yeah, he made a cameo appearance on this most recent season. So
Oh, so what's it called? Not Wind Talkers. It's Dark Winds.
Dark Winds. Yep.
Is it like a little? Is it spooky at all, or is it
It
just a
has a bit of
drama?
it has horror elements in it, and they actually do a basically they do a David Lynch episode in season 3.
Oh, no shit!
No
Really?
shit. Yeah. And a lot in season 3
Absolutely.
they
Then
do
I'll have to check it out then. I
season
miss
3.
David Lynch.
Yeah, it's really fun to watch. The characters are interesting. So I enjoyed the hell out of it. So
Okay, well, I keep going by it. What was I?
yeah.
Then I just started watching Countdown with Jensen Ackles because I'm just so supernatural deprived. But they're also going to come out with a couple supernatural movies. I just read
Yeah.
before we got online, so I can calm down. Be more supernatural coming.
I
So,
give it
what do you think? What do you think in terms of a scale of 1 to 10? I would give this episode an 8.5 because I think that it went above and beyond in terms of breaking the mold, in terms of the Indians. But again, there were, I mean, it wasn't one of the better one. It wasn't one of the best ones, but it wasn't too bad. What about you guys?
I give it an 8 out of 10. It's pretty good.
Hmm. Yeah, I give it an 8.5. How about you, Vicky?
I'd give it an 8. I would have given it a 9 at those wigs. Those wigs. I mean, I
Hmm.
mean, it, for the 60s, people must have had common sense back then, but they didn't. I guess they just had to just get it out there. Surely people I don't know. I just, it's just the wigs. They bothered me. they bothered me. I have to admit those wigs bothered me. But as far as the interaction, where like, you know, the scenes where Doug and Tony are walking around the fallen soldiers is kind of haunting, and it got the slow build towards, you know, because we had the slow build towards the inevitable massacre at Bighorn. But I mean, it was kind of haunting watching them walk through it.
Yeah.
I mean, that did have some kind of use to it. I mean, that was kind of, God, that was, you know, regardless of what a turd Custer was. I mean, the Sioux Indians did kick the shit out of them. You know, I had a buddy in college who was a Sioux Indian that would put every once in a while do bong hits and watch. They died with their boots on just to watch the Sioux Indians kick the shit out of Custer at least once a month. He was funny, but it's a true story. But there was a lot of psychological weight watching people walk in destruction, knowing that you cannot stop it.
Tell you one thing.
That I would give creds to about for the 8.5 with Tony and Doug.
Tell you one thing, it was pretty ballsy of I remember that scene where Crazy Horse is trying to egg Tony on and
where they were Indian fighting.
Yeah.
I was just waiting for the Captain Kirk Indian fighting music to start. Da, 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 da. No, they didn't know.
Well, I mean, you know, you have to you have to obviously go a little stereotypical in order to get that. But when he said, "Brother, I will show you how to die," and he just walks to the stake and you know, plants himself there, and that was a pretty ballsy thing to do, because they could have said, "Oh hell," you know, they could have set him on fire anytime they wanted.
Yeah,
and he just went ahead and said, "I will show you how to die," and this really establishes the trust relationship.
Well, then he counted coup instead of killing him. He could have stabbed him in the head, but he didn't. He put the knife in the sand.
Exactly. Could have tomahawked him.
Yeah.
Could have taken his scalp. And there were no scalps. That was another thing about that.
I just thought it was this episode was probably one of their better examples of the whole show's thematic struggle. What happens when you know history and you're helpless to change it? There's just nothing that can be done.
Mm-hmm.
And that's just what it's going to be reiterated all the way down.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Really fun episode.
And there's no happy ending, just survival.
Survival for Tony and Doug, but not for
they barely escape. You know, they're forced to watch this grim, unresolved ending. You know, it's just awful.
With what's his name, with Custer in the middle of the shot, lying face up on the ground, and you kind of wonder. There's no arrows in him. You kind of wonder how he died. Maybe he got shot or something like that.
Well, he was one of the first to go.
How did he? Well, did they put an arrow in him, or did they shoot him?
I think both.
Because they didn't have an arrow in him in the scene.
Well, they probably wanted to keep it looking as attractive as they could, you know.
Probably.
I don't know. I mean, he was supposed to be at the 60s. I'm still assuming that he was considered an American hero.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I guess we didn't want to see. They did it. I don't know. Was this prime time when this was on? Because they don't really show really violence. But then again, we are so desensitized. I mean, I'll flip on Terrifier 3 and have coffee in the morning. You know, it's like, so I mean, we're in a desensitized group here.
Different world, but that probably was a violent scene back then.
Oh my God, it had to be. I mean, it was bloody. I mean, think about medieval battle, even up until that point. I mean, war is still horrible now, but it was just face to face, hand to hand, bloody combat. I mean, the ground is so slicked with blood. You know, the stench and that's got to be sheer horrific. You know, I mean, I can't imagine war is just shitty as it is, but that probably just does the total new spin. And let's face it, their bodies were not treated well after they died.
Yeah.
A lot of bad stuff happened. If he just would have not divided his into 3 columns, he was so arrogant. I mean, everybody has analyzed this. I think most generals have analyzed this. I think the tacticalness is even taught in West Point of what you do not.
Well, he wanted to be president. They talked about that in the episode where he was going to run for Congress and he was going to run for president. He was pretty arrogant to think, and he said he became a brigadier general when he was 22. There's a lot of ego. There's a lot of ego there that he thinks he can do anything and he can step on anybody, and he's going to use the Indians basically to prove his worth. And God forbid what would have happened if Custer had been president. Can you imagine what he would have done to the Indians? Would have massacred them. That would have been.
Well, they said fan and critic reactions. They said, while some viewed it as a weaker episode in comparison to other episodes with criticism focused on anachronistic dialogue and heavy-handed morality, others appreciated sobering, dramatic tone and its live-action historical exploration.
I just sit down the fence there. Yes, it wasn't one of the stronger episodes, but on the other hand, it had certain strengths that other episodes
I thought
didn't
it did. I guess it's just in the eye of the beholder. You're not going to make
everybody
happy, so.
Exactly. I agree.
I mean, it's sort of like when we were doing Dark Shadows. I mean, we either love the episode or we beat the piss out of
it, Absolutely. So we'll see. So the next one is the Devil's Island episode.
Yes.
Jules all excited about Devil's Island. I heard that in his voice because I can't see his face tonight.
And there's good bit, but that is that's very interesting in terms of the historical background that they bring to it, and also their special guest that's plucked out of the maybe I shouldn't say it here, but here's a blooper. One of the prisoners is wearing the prison uniform, and it's the same uniform that Dr. Smith was wearing on Lost in Space
when he was arrested. I didn't catch that.
When he was arrested, you'll take a look, and it's the same number. It's the same number.
No kidding, I didn't see that.
Yeah. Well, you have to take a look at Lost in Space. You have to take a look at that particular episode. But when he was arrested and he had that's the same uniform.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. So that part's funny. But that's something we can talk about next time. And we'll be talking to you about that right now. Let's keep Sunday at 8 for now. Are we good for Sunday at 8?
Yes.
Vic,
Sunday for next week's good.
So far so good. I got to see what's going on with my schedule. But we'll
always good on Sunday nights for you too.
We'll talk about that. Anything else that anybody wants to add, Jewel?
Yeah, real quick. The Indians had repeater rifles. Yep, with bows and arrows. So they had some artillery for this battle.
They did. They were armed. They did have guns. It wasn't just bows and arrows.
Yep. Yeah. So that's all.
That was all black market bought, I'm sure, or they massacred somebody for them because they gave as good as they got. At that time, I think the Sioux Indians had just enough of their bullshit. So.
Yeah. That's another reason why they merged together too. They got tired of the white man.
No, the Santee Indians even joined them. They used to be like primal hostile towards each other, So that's pretty crazy.
Yeah.
So they just said they weren't going to take it no more.
Yeah. this has been a fun episode.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Link to the literary license podcast will be in the description box. Go check it out if you haven't already, guys. You can get Tom Hotz, Tom Diamond, and Vickie Ray both on Facebook. They're very nice people. Vickie,
We
I'll see you
tried.
Tuesday for Halloween 6.
Yep. Same bat time.
Yeah, same time. And
Okay. This should
I'll
be
see,
fun.
I'll see you both. I'll see you
Okay, I'll
both
see you
for.
Tuesday.
I'll see you
See you
both
next
Sunday.
Tuesday.
Yep, yep. You guys have a good one. Take care.
Bye. Bye,
Take
y'all.
care now.
Y'all
Bye,
be safe.
guys. Take care, Vickie.